So today I'm going to talk about the solar plexus and how to heal the solar plexus for those of you who have experienced unhealthy or unstable empathy. Unhealthy or unstable empathy is being absorbed in unconscious feminine energy, absorbed in sensation, absorbed in your emotions and the emotions of your environment, the people around you. And so what happens is we lose access to our mind, to our male energy. So much of the healing for us is developing our solar plexus so that we have healthy male energy. Someone stuck in unhealthy masculine energy, somebody maybe on the narcissistic side of the personality spectrum, their healing journey would kind of be the reverse, right? Learning to attune to their environment. Whereas the unhealthy empath needs to develop healthy male energy, because if you're always lost in sensation, then you lose the ability to move forward in life. Whereas someone in unconscious male energy, all they care about is moving forward. So they don't stop and smell the roses. But for us, it's like, well, okay, you can live your whole life just like absorbed in your family dynamic, in the drama around you, in what other people are feeling, and get hijacked by that, and then lose your ability to move forward, which can be very heavy. It can be very heavy. It can be depressing, right? So it's really important for our mental health too that we correct this imbalance. And what I'm about to share with you is what I've noticed as chronic things in the solar plexus for people that fall under this category of unhealthy empathy. But besides the list I'm going to share with you, on a moment-to-moment basis, you can always notice your solar plexus and what makes you lose power or gain power in your solar plexus. So your solar plexus is your mental body. So therefore, every time you have a mental attitude that's negative, that's resistant, that's hateful, that's cynical, right? Blameful. Every time you have a mental attitude like that, you lose power from your solar plexus. Every time you let your mind worry about money, you lose power from your solar plexus. So there's a lot of stuff that we do mentally that makes us lose power that we should be aware of moment to moment, because you can interrupt that and bring it back into balance immediately. But what I'm going to share again is chronic stuff that tends to be like an unhealthy empath's like baseline vibration. So the solar plexus is the center of self-worth, boundaries, and under the umbrella of self-worth, I'm going to break down like 3 aspects of self-worth. One of them being self-belief. So self-belief is trusting yourself, trusting that you're a creator, trusting that you have what it takes to do this life, trusting that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes up, whatever obstacles come your way when you're creating something. People that have really high self-belief, they set their mind to something, and no matter what happens to them, they go bankrupt, they get death threats, they have all these challenges, like they don't lose their vision, right? They trust themselves, they trust their desire, they trust their vision, and they trust their ability as a creator. So that's what we need, right? We have to raise our self-belief. No matter how feminine you are or how sensitive, and when I say feminine, I mean you might be designed in a very feminine way, might be very sensitive to sensation, which is beautiful, but you might be a mystic, you might see things that spectrums of light that other people maybe can't see. No matter who you are, how sensitive you are, you were designed perfectly to thrive in this world. And so you can have self-belief. You were designed perfectly. No matter who you are, no matter how you experience reality, you are a creator and you have what it takes to deal with challenges that come your way. And you can trust yourself, and you can trust that you were designed perfectly and you are complete the way you are. You don't have to either consciously or subconsciously find someone to do things for you, right? That's something that a lot of unhealthy empaths do. They attract narcissists, which really unhealthy feminine energy attracts really unhealthy masculine energy, because they see that person has more perceived stability, more perceived financial success, more self-belief and self-trust, And so you're looking for a frequency outside of you that you need to realize within you, which we're going to call self-belief. So when we have those, when we've integrated those frequencies that prior we've been looking for in the world and outside of us, we don't need to attract those lessons anymore. So the second subcategory of self-worth is self-esteem, which self-esteem is following through with honoring your soul. Right? So something feels off to you, a business deal that you get offered, might be a lot of money, might be what most people call tempting. You say no to it because it doesn't feel right to you. You have the self-esteem to say that, wait a minute, I matter just as much as anyone else. So like, even if your family tries to guilt you, right? Oh, you should be going to this wedding. You should be going to this. You know, in my family, it's always like a midnight dinner for a holiday because my family is Spanish. And it's like, you know what? I have the self-esteem to say, no, like that doesn't work for me. That really imbalances me. And I'm not going to do that. I love all of you so much, but I'm not going to do that. By the way, it's really important that we learn how to assert our boundaries with love, which is a whole other skill. Because before we connect our heart and our voice, we can actually, unhealthy empaths can be very volatile because they feel resentful of themselves that they haven't learned how to create boundaries. So they actually become very volatile. Just like if you hit a dog 10 times, it might not bite you back. And on the 11th time, it'll fucking bite your head off. And that's part of the shadow of the empath, that volatility. And the reason that we subconsciously try to find stability outside of us is because we haven't learned how to create boundaries and to say no. Saying no can be so challenging that it can feel like you're in sleep paralysis. Like you're in a situation with someone who you perceive as intense that you don't want to rock their boat because that would mean you'd have to feel what they feel because you're an empath, which by the way, you don't have to feel what other people feel. I'm going to get into that later. But then, so you start to hesitate saying no, and so you tolerate a dynamic that's really doesn't work for you, and then one day you explode, or you burn a bridge, or you set a friendship on fire because all you had to really do was say no at a much earlier stage. So self-esteem can say no, right? This is the boundaries that are essential, and I understand how difficult it can be. It can feel like you're trying to unfreeze yourself from paralysis, right? I've been in situations where people were physically harming me, disrespecting me, and I would just, like, that tendency to freeze, that trauma response to freeze was so thick that, like, I would not be able to say no. And I have compassion for that version of me that was traumatized and frozen. That's so important that we have compassion for all the versions of ourselves, and I'll get into that more in the heart chakra. But it's really, really important that saying no, right? Saying no is one of the mantras of the healthy solar plexus for the empath, truly. In a loving way, in the most loving way possible. So self-esteem is esteeming your own life, your own life force, your own well-being as much as other people. Right? I matter just as much as anybody else. Like, other people seem to have no problem saying no and having boundaries and doing what they want and not doing what they don't want, right? It's really important that we integrate that as a normal part of our psyche. So another subcategory of self-worth I would call self-value. So self-value is about acknowledging that you have value, right? You are inherently valuable. Your essence is inherently valuable. Even if you're not involved a lot in the action world, like your presence, your essence, your energy, your beingness is an essential part of creation, right? To really like meditate upon that and really, like, even when I just said that, I could feel that vibration, that knowing, like, radiated my aura. It's really important to really radiate that, to really know that. But apart from that, apart from the fact that you're inherently valuable, you also have medicine. You also have something to give the world, whether it's the way you parent, the way that you listen, the way that you speak, whatever it is, you have value. Okay, so it's really important to value yourself, to acknowledge your value, to actually say to yourself, and I'm talking specifically about people who severely devalue themselves. It's not like some people are like, well, that's believing that the self is real, and then you buttress the ego. Like, no, this is about correcting the genders. If I have an underdeveloped solar plexus and I hate myself and I carry the energy of self-disgust, I need to correct that and say, like, wait a minute, no, I am holy ground. My body is holy ground, right? Self-devaluation can manifest as attracting partners who physically disrespect you, and maybe allowing them to continue to physically disrespect you. My body is holy ground. It's not something that can be played with. That I need to acknowledge my value as a holy being, as a sacred being, to correct that imbalance. If you were sexually abused as a child or humiliated in your childhood and you carry the energy of self-disgust, like, it's really important to transform that into self-acceptance and into compassion. I want you to scan your consciousness for self-disgust. Like, this is part of, when we're talking about self-value, a lot of unhealthy empaths carry intense self-hatred because maybe they haven't figured out how to be financially sovereign. Maybe they haven't figured out how to heal chronic health issues. And you hear about the law of attraction and, oh, if you had a high vibration, you would never be sick and you'd be rich and all these things. And it feels like you mean well, and it feels like you live from your heart, but maybe like these things haven't manifested for you, health or financial sovereignty or whatever. And so it can be easy to like start to criticize yourself or start to think that you're broken or that there's something wrong with you. But the only thing that's wrong with you is that you think there's something wrong with you. I know that's like it's probably a meme at this point, but there's nothing wrong with you, but we have to correct that. You were created perfectly. Your body is holy. Your emotions are holy. People in general, almost on a universal level, carry self-disgust about their human nature, about their physical body, about thinking the body is disgusting, the body is a means to an end, it's a problem, it's like your mascot, right? It's the thing that gets you love or the thing that gets you good attention or bad attention. And when it has symptoms, we get angry at it instead of listening to the message. That's devaluation. That's, your body is part of you. You have to value your body and the way that it communicates to you. We have to value our emotions in the way that they communicate to us. We can't try to escape our emotional reality. Yes, when you fully feel your emotions, like, they transform, and eventually you'll be in very similar situations in life without the same pain coming up. So in spirituality, a lot of people that even claim to be talking about being conscious, like people that are obsessed with, leaving this reality or going into higher dimensions and all of that, what they're doing is just escaping their emotional reality. They're escaping their emotions. And so when you accept dukkha, one of the four noble truths of the Buddha, right? There is pain in this world, which is what I talked about in the second chakra. There is pain, and I can handle it. And the Buddha also said, and there is a way through pain. There is a way out of suffering. And the way out of suffering is to accept pain as part of life and to realize that you are the immortal consciousness that can hold it. And so pain still comes up. It still comes up, but when we embrace it and we're present with it, it does dissolve and it does transform. So another big part of self-value is, and we could even put this as part of self-esteem, is being non-reactive. So when life happens and you get triggered and you feel pain, maybe you get an unexpected bill and you feel fear and you feel your solar plexus starting to get tight and controlling. Okay, feel that. Don't shove it away, but then don't succumb to it. So the pain arises, I accept it, but I don't succumb to it mentally, meaning I don't say, oh God, well, now that I have this $20,000 bill, that means that I'm trapped, and that means that I'm never going to have what I want. I'm never going to have the life that I want. I'm never going to get to do what I want. Now I can't go on that trip. No. No. We lose power from our solar plexus when we spiral, when we react to life in a way that we're perceiving it as attacking us, right? So one of the biggest things that puts power back in our solar plexus is realizing, hello, we're not a victim. We're not a victim and we're not being attacked. Life is happening and we get to choose who we are. Are you abundant? Are you immortal? Are you abundant? Or are you going to tell yourself that you're never going to have the life that you want? Again, that doesn't mean that you suppress the pain. Let's say you find out someone betrayed you. Someone's lying to you. That hurts. Right? That you feel grief, you might feel anger. Okay, feel those feelings and honor that pain, but then don't succumb to it. Succumbing to it could be like trying to hurt them back or deciding that you're never going to trust another human being again. That's succumbing to it, right? We lose power from our solar plexus when we succumb to life's challenges mentally. We embrace the pain that they trigger, that the challenges trigger. We embrace the pain, but we don't conclude a lackful conclusion. Lackful conclusions make us lose power from our solar plexus. So every time we get triggered and we embrace pain, and then we don't succumb to the idea that something's wrong or something is bad, or that it means something negative about us or about life, every time we do that, our self-worth, our baseline of self-worth goes up and up and up and up. So the next thing is the will to disconnect, right? The will to narcissate. If you're an unhealthy empath and you're like a fly on the wall, or you're like a nebulous, gaseous mist that disappears into your environment, all of a sudden you're in an environment with intense people, and now your desires go out the window. Now your opinions go out the window. Your feeling of security goes out the window. It's like you just ceased to exist just because you entered into an environment that's uncomfortable. So disconnecting, the will to disconnect, first of all, there's stages to it. First of all, it means if you are an unhealthy empath and you also have low self-belief and low self-worth and self-disgust and self-hatred, it's very likely that a lot of the people around you reflect that. You might wake up to the fact that, like, holy shit, almost every single one of your intimate relationships has been abusive. Maybe a majority of your friendships are not very kind and tender either, because you accept into your life what you think you deserve. So when we wake up to this, when we wake up to the fact, not necessarily that people around us are abusive, but maybe that we've outgrown something, a relationship, a job, a friendship, the courage to disconnect from them, right? To go into the forest and find your own magic, as is the archetypal journey of the magician and the tarot. The reason that's so difficult for an empath is because we're so identified with what we're connected to. I noticed a lot of empaths are always referring to, like, the family members in their life, the friends in their lives, their intimate partner. It's almost like that's like so much of what they refer to, because their identity is about what they're connected to. So to become sovereign and to realize that really what we really want to feel connected to, and realize that we have always been and always are connected to, is our source. Sometimes what that initiation looks like is we are asked to disconnect from our knowns and have the courage to disconnect, leaving a relationship, you know, even if it's like not necessarily getting divorced, but at least psychologically, at least mentally owning, okay, this doesn't work for me anymore. Before you take an action in the solar, the throat is the action. Before you take an action, you have to own something. You have to get there in your mind first. oh, okay, this is not right for me. I'm not going to continue to try to put a square peg in a round hole anymore. Clarity. I'm going to own that clarity. Step one. So we have the courage to disconnect from what is unhealthy, or from what we've outgrown, from what doesn't resonate, even if there's nothing to take its place. That's the challenge for the empath that's so used to being connected. Oh, I don't have a new partner yet. But you know that your current partner isn't right for you. So your soul is asking you to have the courage to disconnect. Oh, I don't have my own family yet. But yet being involved in my family dynamic is really unhealthy for me. Okay, well, you're being asked to disconnect even though you haven't created your own family yet. That can be what that initiation looks like. The courage and the will to disconnect. Will is healthy male. Divine will. Come on, I can do it. I can do it. I want to find out that all these frequencies that I'm looking for in the world, the feeling of feeling connected, I have that already inside of me. I'm connected to my source. And this is not to deny our desire for family and friends. And this is not to isolate ourselves. This is an initiation of sovereignty. And I think you might know what I'm talking about, but take it or leave it. So the next thing to develop your healthy male energy is to use your mind, right? Instead of just bobbing into your day, hijacked by something you saw on the internet, arguing with someone in your mind, stop and use your mind on purpose, right? When you go for a walk, decide to put your awareness in your heart chakra and to exhale appreciation into your environment, to connect with your environment. Use your mind, make more choices. I'm going to connect with my environment. I'm going to get out of my head. I'm going to feel life around me. If you're arguing with someone in your head and then you get in your car, okay, you've just entered a new scene. Stop yourself from arguing in your head and say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this drive and I'm going to look out the window and listen to music and just feel my love of life. It's making choices. The male makes choices. The male is decisive. It's important, if you are absorbed in unhealthy feminine energy, to be more decisive with yourself internally. Like, okay, if you know that you tend to space out into the astral world and your mind wanders when you listen to certain music, have a boundary with yourself. Don't listen to that music. Walk in silence. Feel your feet. Talk to the earth. Talk to the earth. Pray to the earth. Use your mind intentionally. Don't just bob into your day being hijacked by your emotions, by sensations, by fantasy. Don't get hijacked. Or if you are hijacked, use your healthy male energy to get you out, right? Use the tools that you have, whether it's meditation, interrupting your unconsciousness, prayer, audible prayer, appreciation, gratitude. Use those tools to interrupt your unconsciousness. That awakens your male energy. It's ceremonial magic, like creating a ceremony around something you want to let go. Like intentionality, intense intentionality has dramatically improved my life, my health, balanced my energy, because I am naturally very receptive. I'm naturally very feminine. I'm naturally like a pure channel. I could walk around and channel all day long and just receiving. But I noticed that there was an imbalance. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel stable. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel strong. When I started making more decisions, talking to God, instead of like being afraid to drive on the highway, which I was always afraid to drive on the highway, because ever since I had a Kundalini awakening, I feel ungrounded sometimes when I'm in an airplane or a car. And you know what I said? Enough of this. My healthy male woke up and said, enough. Okay, God, look after me on this drive. Look after me. I want to have a safe drive. Invoking intention and male energy has dramatically improved my life. Just want to share that with you. And the final thing I'm going to share with you is something that is going to be so fun for you, I think, to realize, which is that you do not have to get hooked by your environment. So let's say you go to a family gathering and your family is like revved up. Maybe they're fiery, spicy, maybe they like to talk about politics, and you are more calm and peaceful, right? So then you get into their environment and now you're revved up. Well, I want you to know that when you feel that you've just been hooked. You've just been hooked. You don't have to get hooked. That's actually not what true empathy is, which I've discussed in other videos. True empathy is allowing God's will to come through you. Empathy doesn't need to mean that you feel inside of your body other people's experiences. No, that's not what it has to mean. So I want you to practice when that happens to you and you get into an environment and all of a sudden you've been altered by whatever's going on. I want you to literally imagine hooks inside of you, and I want you to pull them out and unhook. Nope, that's healthy male energy. Nope, I'm not getting hooked by you. I'm not getting hooked by you. The decision, it's that decisiveness, it's the male. It's the male energy can execute. So you have to wake up that function. No, I'm not gonna get hooked. Just try this. I know it's like flabbergasting, like if that's even a word, to realize that like, wait a minute, I don't actually have to feel everything as part of my, inside of my body. No, you don't. You can have compassion for people. You can notice what people are going through without actually living it yourself. And part of how you accomplish that is you simply decide to unhook, realize that you even have that option, and then execute that decision over and over and over. I'm telling you, you're gonna feel so happy and like a freaking, like you're gonna explode like a star when you realize like this is so amazing that you actually have the ability to unhook. So unhook, do it. Use visualization. See the hooks leave and say no to that. That is something that a lot of people just don't know they can do. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was helpful for your solar plexus, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And I'll see you in the heart chakra.